I'll tell you guys a story, another one. It's about 15, 20 years ago. I was talking with David Bowie about streaming of music, because we could see it coming. Right? And he said, Hans, what do you think if I do a playlist of young artists who I endorse? It's like, you look at how the charts have multiplied. There was Billboard had one chart, Billboard 100. There's now a chart for everything because they make money out of it. Right, so, Billboard, new metal, rap, hip hop,
and they keep coming up with new ones.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it's
the
like
stuff on those playlists are very obvious.
Yeah,
yeah.
So what Bowie was saying, which I thought was great, is and then he decided to leave us. He said, what if I do 20 acts who I think I've heard and I endorse them? I said, if it comes from David Bowie, wow. I would want to know who you think's going to be the next Velvet Underground or Brian Eno or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, or Funkadelics or whatever. Right?
And you want to be on that list too.
Yeah, and you want to be on that list.
Yeah.
And this is where I think there is a big idea, because before he passed away, he talked about this with Prince. And then Prince passed away. So just those two artists, if they had a top 20, imagine.
Well, it's actually, sorry, just because you just mentioned Prince, but he did have something like that kind of going on. We have Lianne La Havas, who was one of his proteges.
Really?
Lisa was early on into one of his projects. It's just that he never had it something too public. Right. But there's a lot of up and coming artists that he's just hey, I'm just gonna bring you along. You know? Just a little nudge.
Nurture.
So imagine if that was more of a official platform. It's
I think if both of them stayed the distance, I think that would have happened.
Yeah. It's like when you said you would want to be on that playlist. That kind of struck a chord with me like radio days, where it's bands were hungry to get on the radio, dying to get on the radio, which I think breeds a pretty it pushes artists to avoid being not their best, being mediocre, where not having that vision of I've got to get on that place and just being on Spotify. Spotify will take anyone who has an aggregator and goes through the ropes.
Yep.
And there's so much music that is not necessarily the best that artists could have done. They kind of complete a project, often maybe in their own space, which is fine, but it's already available to be on Spotify, and then it goes amongst the billions of different songs to just kind of fade away. But that aiming for something that means something to the artist, it's an exciting thing.
Yeah,
I think that's something we should aim at. All of us who love music, we should aim at that level of excitement.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, because they are and they have been such an influence on my whole life. The Beatles, Get Back documentary that Peter Jackson's been working on. When I just saw the trailer, it almost moved me to tears when I heard Let It Be. And how many times have I heard Let It Be? And I hear Let It Be and I'm going, wow, how could these guys write so much stuff in 7 years? Singles, albums, EPs, incredible. Movies. They did music videos, but they called them experimental movies. I watch the video for Strawberry Fields Forever or Magical Mystery Tour, it's before MTV. Now that you're starting to perform live again, has that changed? Have your live performances changed?
Have our live performances changed?
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't play for almost a year and a half, and then we played our first gig after a year and a half. And at first it felt like riding a bicycle, you know, they're just like, oh yeah, okay, I got this. But it just felt, because of all this work that we have been putting through this whole time, I felt better. I felt like I was riding a bicycle better than before, and I felt so much more confident, and like just like it was like a validation that like, yes, the stage is where I belong. This is my element. This is where I feel the best. So it's changed positively. I feel definitely it was sad to deal with not playing live, but now that we're going back to play live again, I'm like, yes.
I won't be long, gotta put my nails, got my makeup on this Friday night, and I won't be long till I hit the dance floor, I got all I need. No, I ain't got cash, I got you, baby. Maybe I don't need dollar bills to have fun tonight. I got you. Maybe I don't need dollar bills to have fun tonight. I got you.
So you guys are going to be performing at Adrenaline, which would be cool.
Yes, very exciting.
Because you know that's a whole other thing where you're performing with still restrictions.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of good practice, that if you can succeed under those restrictions, when the barriers start to come down, you become actually better at being a live musician. So that's part. And the other thing is, final question is, like, you know, we created this animated band called HWB, and we'd like to see you guys. We'd like to see if you guys would like to jam with them or create with them.
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
Definitely.
So you've seen it, right?
Yeah.
Yes, within the video.
Right.
I liked it. I had more questions about them. I was like, oh, where's the backstory? What kind of stuff do they listen to? So now that I know we're gonna be jamming with them, I feel even more connected to the project.
In the UK, I hung out with Gorillaz, and
I didn't want to say the name, but that's like, it got me excited because I was wondering if that was a bit of an
big
influence.
fan of Damon and Gorillaz and
Me
stuff,
too.
but I kind of didn't want to musically go that way.
Yeah.
I can impersonate Damon very well. I can do the whole lazy drawl thing.
Yeah.
But we kind of thought we'll make this a little bit more K-pop, pop friendly.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, and just created individual personalities.
Yeah.
So I've got a bass player, so let's say I want that bass player to play with the guy you call Curly Franklin. If I want Slap to play with Curly Franklin, he can do it. Right?
Nice.
And if it's a band,
Is his
he can
name
do
Slap? Cool.
it.
Yeah.
Whoa, Slap. He's very modern, but with a touch of retro.
HWB, yeah. Sing doom 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 dookie dum dum. HWB, doom doom dookie dum dum. HWB.
So, you know, look forward to that. I think that'll be different.
Yeah.
And I think that may just kind of break the pattern a bit, that it's not going down that same road,
Yeah.
that it's a little bit of irreverence,
Yeah.
because we don't want to be too serious now. We've gone through a lot of serious
exactly.
shit, right?
Exactly.
So it's time to get a little bit irreverent about
A
it.
bit playful.
I think so, yeah. And it's also like in the technology theme of, like, you know, one thing that we all had to sort of kind of against our will lean into was technology this last year and a half, and this just kind of brings that element with the live music, which I think is just going to make it really playful and fun.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
I'm excited, yeah.
I mean, I'm down to jam with anyone. It's like fun. You know? It's like generally get a chance to jam with a virtual player. Man.
Nice.
Definitely.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
No, thank you
That's
as well,
really
man.
good.